Hey guys, what's up? So in today's video, we're going to be covering all the updates for the upcoming trio FNCS, including the new and improved prize pool, the new meta changes, as well as getting all the reactions from the pros. Let's get right into it. So yesterday, Fortnite Competitive released a new update concerning all FNCS tournaments for 2021. I read through the blog post, so you don't have to, and I'm just going to give you a quick summary of the most important points. We're going to be breaking this down into three parts: the prize pool changes, the format changes, and the meta changes. So to the prize pool changes. This year the total prize pool allocated to all FNCS events is going to be $20 million. That's $3 million more compared to the $17 million prize pool of 2020. Those $20 million are going to be split up into 4 FNCS seasons. Those $3 million will be distributed to the 7 regions according to the size of their player base as follows: $1.3 million for EU, $690k for NE East, $300k for NE West and Brazil, $150k for Asia, $120k for Middle East, and $90k for OCE. Now you may be wondering, what's up with the rest of the prize pool? Fortnite is going to be hosting mid and end of year competitions where they're going to bring together the top performing FNCS players in each region in multiple competitive formats to compete for an additional $8 million. And when I say additional, those $8 million are in the $20 million prize pool. We're going to be sharing more about these events as we get closer to the middle of the year. Another interesting change is that qualifiers and heats now don't give out any money at all, so all the money is allocated to the finals. This obviously makes it harder for the mid-tier players and semi-pros to get a chunk of the prize pool, but it makes the stakes for the finals so much higher. Now to the format changes. The big one you've probably all heard by now is that Epic is deciding to cancel console-only FNCS and make it a single cross-platform player pool. This topic blew up on Twitter last night, and I'm not exaggerating on this, started a war between console and PC players. But before we get into that, let's take a quick look at how the actual format has changed. There are going to be 3 qualifier rounds from February 4th to the 21st of February, a bye week from February 25th to the 28th, semifinals from March 5th to 7th, a reboot round on March 11th and 12th, and the grand finals from March 12th to 14th. Now let's get into some detail and check out what these rounds actually consist of. It's a little bit confusing, but I'm gonna try to break it down for you as logical as possible. So with this new FNCS, we're gonna have round 1 open qualifiers available to everybody in Arena Champion League. Round 2 will then feature the top 1,500 teams from round 1. So far the same as usual. But after round 2, they're adding an additional third round, which is gonna have the best 250 teams from round 2. Out of those 250 teams, the best 33 are then playing in round 4. Out of those 33 teams, the top 10 teams qualify for heats. And a quick side note, once you qualify for heats, you can't play in another qualifier. Alright, so with 3 qualification rounds and 10 teams advancing to heats each week, that makes 30 teams so far, but there is another path to qualify. After 3 weeks, the top 102 teams in series points will also advance to the semifinals for a total of 132 teams making it to semis. And just in case you don't remember, series points are basically points awarded for how consistent your trio plays throughout these qualifiers. So let's say for example you place just outside the top 10 every qualification week, so you don't qualify through the qualifiers, you can still make semis based on series points, rewarding your consistent gameplay from each week. But now back to the 132 trios remaining. These will be placed into 4 different heats of 33 trios each, and the top 8 teams from each heat will then advance to the finals. If you did the math, you'll realize that that makes 32 trios advancing to finals. The 33rd team making it to finals will have a chance to do so through the so-called reboot round, and here's how that works. Trios ranked 9th to 16th in each semifinal, so 28 trios in total, will move to a special consolation round called the reboot round. This reboot round is a winners takes all match where the team that earns the victory royale will be awarded the last qualifying ticket to the finals. This is going to be super exciting to watch. Alright, now that we've gotten the formal stuff out of the way, let's take a quick look at the console vs PC war raging in the community since last night. So basically console players are really pissed off that they don't have their own FNCS anymore and are being thrown into the same FNCS with all the PC players, and most PC players are happy that the prize pool isn't split anymore and that it's only one FNCS. On the one hand, the console community makes up the biggest part of the player base and realistically creates the most revenue for Epic Games in terms of buying skins, emotes, and the battle pass, so I feel like they should get some sort of tournament with money allocated to them. On the other hand, this is the Fortnite Championship Series, and I personally want to see the best of the best play. Even if you're a console player, tell me what you were watching the past couple of FNCS, the console FNCS or the PC FNCS. Obviously the PC FNCS. When you're watching basketball, for example, you want to see the NBA finals and not the G League finals, and they shouldn't have the same prize pool either. But where does that leave the community? Console Kings, one of the biggest Discord servers for console scrims and console players, tweeted this out directly after the announcement and said that they would be making a massive group chat for FNCS to stream snipe all the best PC players. Bucky immediately took the bait and retaliated by posting this, a picture of a bunch of 50 plots flying in towards Craggy, taking a bit of the jab at the console community. And a lot of pros seem to be on his side as well. Aqua said that realistically, if you haven't made enough money to buy a PC from console cups in 2020, then you can't even complain, and I think he's got a valid point with that. One console player that definitely has made enough money to get himself a PC is Bizik, who released this statement yesterday, saying that he's switching to PC from now on because he thinks that he can definitely be successful on it. He had some really good placements playing on a 60 FPS console in crossplay tournaments last year, so I definitely think he can do it. Stretch then went on to put out a typical Stretch tweet. Where does it say they took away console FNCS? This is the only thing I could find, the removal of AIs. Ouch. Calc thinks that console getting a prize pool in the first place was a huge mistake and that player numbers mean nothing. It's about who's the best, and console players just aren't the best. Same as Kalaza, who said, "Gotta wake up to these effing idiots DMing me as if I care in the slightest that I'm going to be getting free points off spawn." The worst part about all of this is that there are actually little brainwashed 9-year-olds that think this is deserved because console lost their prize pool. Chap is saying, looks like someone competent finally got a voice over at Epic, finally console FNCS is gone. One stat backing up this pro's opinions, however, is the amount of PC vs console players competing in the last FNCS during week 1. We can see that clearly a lot more PC players were into FNCS, and I can say the same about my friends I know who play on console. They could care less about competitive Fortnite. But not all pros agree with this. Booga, level-headed as he is, tweeted out that he thinks that the news is good, but he believes that console should still receive some sort of major tournament like an FNCS, maybe not as much money as PC, but they definitely deserve something. Kanata also seems to be on the same page, but not sure if he's trolling or not. Mongral and Booga are just happy to have a reason to grind the game again. This tweet by the European controller god CRR was pretty funny, thanking Zayt for quitting since it woke Fortnite competitive up, after not many pros were happy with the reduced amount of cash cups this season. The only thing Zayt had to say last night was this: all the IGLs right now, out of stock. And the reason for him saying this, of course, were the meta changes. Shockwaves and Riftfish were removed from competitive in today's update, leaving bounce pads, 0-point fish, and chilies to be the only mobility items left in the game. Scope tweeted at his trio that he thinks he needs to step in as IGL now, since positioning and rotations just became a lot more important. Some pros like Chap are calling for a return of launch pads, but I think this meta could be quite interesting since there is no mobility to bail you out of a bad position or to give you an easy rotation. Last night, Zayt said on a stream that in the Shockwave Riftfish meta, all you had to worry about was getting a good position for Storm Surge tags. But now you have to combine the good position for getting tags with a good position to rotate from. I also think that high ground has just gotten much more important, since it will be easier to keep a hold of without countless players shockwaving up from low ground during moving zones. You actually have to take high ground the OG way now by shooting it out and building up at a good opportunity, making the rocket launcher a really valuable weapon again for taking height. With this meta, I'm also interested to see if any trios are going to be developing strategies to get a hold of the Storm Scout Sniper. Anyways, I can't wait to see how all of this unfolds. If you want to keep up with the latest competitive updates and news, make sure to drop a like and a sub. In the next video, I'm going to be covering all the set in stone EU trios there are right now and where they land, and discussing who my favorites for this FNCS are. Until then, I will see you in the next one. Peace.